was in the military. I served for over 13 years of my life, did an element transfer, I went to the Navy, I've worked in corporate. Number 9, the glue guy. Criticize both others and yourself. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Boss Chronicles, where I unpack leadership books, case studies, material so that you can utilize them in your home, in your business, in your space where you are leading your teams to victory. Today, we will be unpacking Clarity in Crisis, Leadership Lessons from the CIA from the author Mark Polymeropoulos. I had to sound it out there. I hope I pronounced it properly. But this book is incredible. I love it. Yes, he was intelligence with the CIA. He served for many decades as an intelligence officer. He has been on several tours. And during his time, he was one of the most decorated and celebrated agent for his time. Now, what we're learning from this book are the leadership principles, the core concepts that he learned and applied during his time, during his season there. So there are 9 core concepts. If you are new to the channel, welcome. And if you like this episode, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. My name is Delisa Abraham, Faith in Sparkle's World, and let's get started. So one of the things that Mark talks about, and I love how he integrated his personal experience and his family life, like his thoughts into the book, along with how he utilized the practices and the concepts that he's sharing in the book in real time. During his decades-long service with the CIA, during his time in service and in very dangerous situations. Now, you might be thinking, this book is not for me. You know, I'm not in the military, or I'm not in the CIA or FBI or the police force. Why would I need these tactics, strategies, concepts? Well, you're a leader. And as a leader, really, these concepts do transcend beyond your work. It's leadership principles. These are principles that are time-tested and true that you can actually best utilize in your home. So we're going to get into it. I'm really excited for this because, as you may or may not know, I was in the military. I served for over 13 years of my life, and I was in the Army, and then I did an element transfer. I went to the Navy. I've worked in corporate. So I actually really love this book. And if you've paid attention to the past unpacking books that I have done so far, you will recognize a theme. You will see that each one complement each other, if you have recognized that. And if not, pay attention to it. Like, you can watch it in sequence, kind of like a series, and it builds upon the leadership principle. Now, a few weeks ago, we looked at the conscious leadership, because right now we're in this like conscious consumerism kind of age and state. So our buyers, our clients, the marketing, it's all about people consciously choosing, right? They want to make the best choice for them, for their family, and also for the planet as well. Now, as we're shifting away, and as you saw when I did that conscious leadership book with John McKay, and he is the owner of Whole Foods, and he started that whole conscious consumerism way. Then we went into Sun Tzu, The Art of War, and it's the updated version for managers, Sun Tzu, The Art of War for Managers. And that one really just laid the foundation, because that particular book went all the way back to the original, The Art of War, that Sun Tzu wrote, and it's just been updated and really sharing the concepts and the insights that managers, leaders, from frontline, mid, and executive, how they can best apply it. Then I went on into guerrilla marketing and how that really plays upon the art of war with Sun Tzu. And this week we're looking at clarity in crisis, right? Leadership lessons from the CIA. So you're seeing a pattern in the leadership style that I started, and even the first book that I introduced, which was Blue Ocean Leadership from the Harvard Review. Right, that was a first foundational book, the Blue Ocean. There is a huge blue ocean of leadership and leadership style that we can adapt, but then the concepts and the work that we do, essentially, it can stay the same. So let's get into it right away. I just wanted to lay that foundation for all of you, because once you've seen this, I mean, by itself, it can work. But when you go back and you take a look back at the series and you take some notes yourself, and or perhaps you buy the book and you do your own reading, it becomes so much more clearer. It helps you in your everyday life as a leader, and as an executive or business owner, when you have to manage not only yourself, but teams. And at the end of the day, like ensuring victory, even in the appearance of failure, you have to see beyond that, right? So let's get started. There are 9 concepts. I will just go with number 9, the glue guy. So he starts off with one of the biggest things there, and he talks about the glue guy. And on page 18, he says, to spot the glue guy or the glue gal, gal. If I say man or guy, in this term, it can mean male or female. Like so I'll try to say guy, gal, male, female altogether, but I'm just putting it under one like umbrella, if that makes sense. So do not get offended by that. So how you spot them. Essentially, he gives this example, and I think it's really good. Who is holding everything together? So yes, you are the leader and you know all the things that are happening and you have the vision. You can see beyond your team. You know what's to come. You are ahead of the game, and you need to do that because you have to take that bird's eye view. The glue guy is the one that's doing all the nitty gritty, tiny detail work that not everybody can do. So how do you spot them? Let's say you go in the emergency room, and he gave this example. If you go in the emergency room, you would see doctors, nurses, administrators, and so on, and everyone has their role. But when it comes to the emergency room and the day-to-day and making sure things are functioning, yes, the admin team is doing their part, but they go home. Nurses are around the clock, right? They're doing their shifts and their schedules. And they're the ones that's making sure that this person, this doctor, has all the equipment, all the tools, so he or she can get the job done and save lives. You go into your family doctor's private practice. They have the head doctor. They may have another doctor, probably interning, and then of course they have the administration team. Well, guess what? The administration team needs to make sure that all of the things the doctor needs in that private practice is aligned, from the schedule to the equipment to all of the finance stuff, all of it. They have to make sure that the doctor is organized together, they're holding that place together so the doctor can focus on what they need to do. Similarly to you in your business, you may or may not have teams, or even as an executive or a manager somewhere. If you have a team, who is that one person that is unifying everyone and has that glue together? Now, yes, you are the leader and you're leading, but remember, we all need help. And if you look at past videos that I did, I always talk about allyship. Who are your allies at work? Who are the ones that advocate for you, that stand up for you when you are not around? And so the glue guy similarly to like an ally, they're the ones that are holding it together. And not everybody can be that. So then you got to pay attention to who your glue guy or gal, who they are. And in this particular chapter, he goes into his experience of identifying and sharing that. But for this purpose, I'm just going to go through very, very quickly what like the concepts, the core concepts, and I'll give example either personally or from what he has presented. The second one is adversity is a performance enhancing drug for success. So that's number 8. That in itself, I think, is so unique that he put it that way. We've heard from a lot of speakers, some like similar, like Les Brown, who would say fail forward, right? Don't see failure as failing. There is failing forward, using that failure for your success, to improve and to grow. And in adversity is a performance enhancing drug. This one is really great because he's sharing in here that when you're in an adverse situation, and in his case, this was life or death. People can die. Now, in your work, it's not really life and death in that sense. However, remember, people are depending on you. So this is their livelihood you're playing with as well. When you do come up with adversity, like when you're faced with adversity, this is your opportunity to really utilize it as fuel. Now, he used the word drug, like performance enhancing drug. This is really your fuel to success. So you're in that challenging space. Now, on page 39, he shares, and this is in the bottom of the page, he says, a true test of leadership is acknowledging our mistakes, owning them, and taking responsibility for them, even when it hurts our ego or temporarily crushes our spirit. This is when we're faced in adversity. And this is where your resilience is being built, in the face of challenges, in the face of adversity. And this is why he's saying you can use it as fuel. He says, make no mistakes, our followers or our team members are watching how we deal with adversity and if we have the perseverance to do the right thing. So do you have the perseverance to do the right thing? It might seem so simple, so easy to just go with the flow or get angry, blame other people. But when you do the right thing and you take responsibility and you stand, one, you're building resilience, mental resilience, emotional resilience. You're cultivating a strength that you didn't have before. You're also encouraging people and inspiring people on your team because they're watching how you face these challenges, this adversity. So instead of you coming down and feeling down for a second or a minute or a long period of time or blaming other people, own it. I made a mistake. We have to say that. I made a mistake. And then you go forward, you move forward from there. If you have a team, it's the same thing. Sometimes as entrepreneurs, as leaders, when our team come to us with a project or an idea or a strategy, there are times maybe we're not properly listening. We might dismiss it and be like, no, this is not a good idea. No, and we shut it down. And we try to go our own way to do our own thing. Now, this happens to all of us, myself included. But it's how you recover as well, right? When you see something that's happening and you're like, oh, I made this mistake, you can go back, apologize. There's nothing wrong with apologizing. There's nothing wrong with saying, I was wrong. Okay, like, what was your plan? Try to get it clear, clarify the plan, understand where they are coming from. And then as well, when the challenges and the adversity arises, that's when you use it as fuel. You use it as a performance enhancing drug to get you going, to encourage, like motivate you, to help you out, to energize you and be like, all right, what are we going to do? What's the next step? Remember, people are watching you, kind of like children in your home. If you're a parent, your children are always watching you. Well, you know what? Your team, they're watching you. Your competitors, they're watching you. You don't think they're what do you call it? Like sneaking a peek at your profile and stuff? They are. They're looking. They're seeing. Number 7, the process monkey. The process monkey. He goes into this, and I'm not going to share too much about what's in that chapter, but essentially you need to have processes. And the process monkeys means just doing something repetitive over and over and over again. So if you have a business, if you are in a company, if you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, you need a process. And if you're not following a particular process, it's not going to work. Great example here. You have a marketing team. You have or social, like a VA, for example. And there are certain steps that they have to take, and processes that they have to go through. And if they don't do it, there's a shortcut. Now, the first time they take a shortcut, it might seem, oh, well, this is easier and this is going to work. However, there's a process in place for a reason. I'm going to repeat that. There is a process in place for a reason. Because when you follow the process, now, not only everyone else knows what's happening, but you know that there's guaranteed results. You know that this works. And this is why businesses, big corporations, spend millions and millions of dollars on research and development, R&D, research and development. That's what they do. So you need to either, if you don't have a process in place, find a process, work on a process, and or if you have processes in place and they're working, you got to make sure that your team, the people that you're placed, that every one of you are following the process. That's also why when new team members are onboarding, you go through and you train them. You have to train them. Number 6, he says here on page 53, humility is a critical trait of great leadership. Learning to constructively reflect on and criticize both others and yourself is not easy. There is no worse trait in a leader than pushing blame down or up the leadership chain, because ultimately your officers, your team members, right, will know if and how you were responsible for that failure. Practicing humility and vulnerability may seem, and I continue on page 54, like a trait that is not embraced in an intelligence or paramilitary culture. But I'm about to break yet another of the stereotypes that surrounds officers. So you need to be humble. And Mark is saying here that in the military, it may not seem that people need to be humble because they would tend to have that persona that's bigger than life, authoritarian. I'm the man, I'm the woman. I can do whatever I want. Like I'm invincible, right? They're invincible. But he's sharing that true leadership is in that test is humility. People are watching us. And so when your team is watching you, if you are glum, if you look tired, if you are showing up defeated, that trust that they have is going to wane. It's going to dissipate, sadly. And so you're not pretending to be anything other than who you are. If there was a loss or a failure or something happened, yes, you can show that emotion. But remember, people are looking to you to be the strength. Queen Elizabeth, God rest her soul, that just passed, for example. Whatever your beliefs about her, whatever your thoughts about her is, it is. During the war, during that period of time, when the nation needed her, the nation was in England, was in war. It was coming into World War II. And she was a pillar of strength. She went on TV, she spoke to the nation, and she encouraged them that, hey, we will get through this. The prime minister of the time, Winston Churchill, he was that pillar of strength that the people needed. Now, they're all working together and they're all, supporting. And people needed the strength. The nation needed that to know we will get through this. We will survive this. We will come out victorious. And so she had to be a pillar of strength in the midst of chaos, in the midst of a war, so that the people can have hope. They will have belief, and that they can say, yes, I'm enlisting because this is to save my mother, my father, my sister, my brother, my child, my wife, whatever it is, whoever it was. The reason why they were signing up to defend their nation and defend their country. So being able to win that Oscar is remembering that your team is watching you. They're watching how you speak. They're watching your tonality. They're watching if you're hunched over, if you're standing tall. They're watching your spirit, essentially. Like, is it a defeated spirit? Because it comes out physically in our slouching, in our words. Maybe we're just sitting by ourselves when we normally is sitting in a group at that time. If you need time to rest, if you need time to take a breather, take that time. Take that time in the privacy. Take that time. Yes, you can show your vulnerability. I'm not telling you not to do that. Show your vulnerability 100%, yes. But there's also a time where you just need to be strong. There's a period of time, especially when things are becoming chaotic, when the people need hope. And when people need hope, this is when the true leaders come out. And this is where the strength of that leader is needed, because how the leader presents him or herself, that is who the team or the people will turn to. Shake your head yes, tell me yes, because that is true. That's how it is. And it's a win an Oscar. People undermine it. They might think like, oh, it doesn't matter. But it does matter. Your presentation matters. Your attitude matters. How you show up every single day. It matters, because your people need to have a belief in you in order for them to succeed. If they don't believe that you're going to get through this, they're going to start wandering and looking for other places and spaces of employment or other departments that can get them through, because they need strength. They need resilience. They need support. They need a belief. Even if it means that they're marching wherever it is they're going to be marching to, they will follow you all the way because of that strength that you would have. I'll leave it there. I could go on and on. I mean, each one of these core concepts is an individual topic all by itself. But it's too good. Now, family values. Number 4, family values. You're thinking to yourself, why is family important for your work? Well, we need the support. No one can independently stand on their own. We all need someone. We all need support. And when you have that support of your family, of your children, of your spouse, of your parents, perhaps, whoever it is, it makes what you're doing lighter. It helps. And how we treat our family is very important. Sometimes you hear of professionals or owners who treat their spouses like crap. Their children have no idea who they are, but then they present on the outside world that they have this amazing and perfect family. Well, you know what? Don't pretend. Actually spend time with your spouse, spend time with your children because they want to know what you're doing. Teach them something. This is back to like the traditional values. They want to know what you're doing. They want to support you. And sometimes your children or your spouse, they have the solution that you will need. A lot of times we think that, oh well, I'm dealing with these high pressure, high stress situations, and you know what? Lawyers always say that, right? They speak jargon that majority of the people don't understand, like law jargon that people don't understand. And then they'll say, "Well, it's too complicated. You won't understand it, so I'll deal with it." There's a lot of them that might say that. You know, some bankers, "Oh, this is too complicated." Like there's some financial advisors that come across and be like, "It's so complicated. I mean, it takes years and years of study. You're not going to fully understand." Well, really, just break it down, right? And so if you treat your family in that sense, you're missing out on the simple solutions, wisdom, and support that is going to help sustain you, that's going to help rejuvenate you, that is going to that's your rock. Essentially, you're the rock for so many people, so that rock needs another rock, which is their family that supports them. Now you might say, well, I'm all by myself. I don't have a family at this time, and I understand that. Maybe you started off on your own. You're in a new country, but guess what? You're still supported, and there's always somebody that is there, even if it's only for a season, that may be like family, that supports you and encourages you. Okay, so your family values are precious, and they're important. I know personally with my daughter Faith, when it comes to certain things, she asks me questions. She sees what I'm doing. She wants to know what's going on. She's asking questions, and then sometimes if she sees that I'm thinking, she knows that my thinking face is off because I walk when I'm thinking. She will ask, "Oh, are you stressed? Because you're looking a little stressed." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm thinking about something." And she's like, "Well, what are you thinking about?" She asks the questions, and I would say I'll break it down. Now I'm forced to break it down in a way that she will understand, and I keep it very, very simple, like at least one sentence. And then there are times she come up with like the solutions, and I'm like, "Oh, this is actually a really good idea." Like I didn't see it from that perspective. So she even gives me insights into how I'm doing something in the business that I personally value, because I was so caught up in all of the other things that I didn't look at it from the simplistic, childlike way, if that makes sense, what I'm saying. Number 3, become a people developer. I mean, this is pretty much clear cut in and of itself. Just develop your team. If they need training, make sure they have it. You want people who are confident. You want people who have high self-esteem. You want people who are sure of what they're doing, where they're going, how they're going to do it, that they can support because they are the expert in that area. You want that. So develop your people. I've had people say to me, "Why would you want to train your staff if they're not full time? Maybe they're contractors or part time. Why would you do that?" And for me, I'm like, because I want good work to be done. What do you mean? Why would I train them? The big corporate businesses, guess what they're doing? That's why you have that 90-day trial. They train you. They want to make sure that you are equipped to do the work. You have to be equipped to do the work, period. And so you may be hiring contractors. You may have your team. You may have a staff, but make sure that they are developed emotionally, spiritually, intellectually. That is your job as a leader. And once they are developed, they will give you 100% all of the time. You have to ask questions. You have to know what's going on with them, because when it becomes challenging. When the adversity arises and they need your strength, that is when you need them to be able to give you 100%. That's when you need to not focus, oh my goodness, like, does this person know how to do this and this? No, they should already know how to do it. You need to feel confident that they could do the job in the times of adversity and challenges so that you can focus and do your job. And so this is why it's so important to develop people. Now, I didn't give any example of what he said in here, but I just wanted to make that clear. I ask people on my team all the time, what do you need? I want to show you a program. I want to show you some insight. Where are you in understanding whatever it is that you're creating, whatever it is that they're helping me with? What additional help and support do you need? And I need that because guess what? As the business is growing, as I'm evolving, as people are becoming more aware of the Lisa Abraham from Faith and Sparkles world, guess what? There are things that I have already foreseen as a leader. I already have the vision for that they haven't seen. But then at the same time, there are adversity and challenges that may come up. And I can't stop and think to myself, oh, well, is this person going to do this? Or do they understand? Or are they qualified to do that? And then I'm scrambling to find someone that can do the work, and I'm not sure if they are good or whatever else. Like, you never, ever, ever want to be in that situation. So always make sure that your people are developed. Always make sure that your people are healthy. Always make sure that people, like, what's going on with your people? Develop them intellectually. Develop them emotionally. Give them the resilience that they need. Challenge them healthily. Stretch them appropriately. When I say stretch them, stretch their skills. Ensure that they are happy. Now, not everybody's going to be happy all the time, but on a general consensus, yes, that they want to show up and do the work. If they don't want to show up to do the work, then why are they there? And that's your job as the leader to make sure that they are developed. Regardless if you believe for one moment that if I train this person is going to leave. It is irrelevant if they leave. The point is, you need people who can support you in those times of adversity, in those times of challenges, because when it gets tough, who is going to be in the ark with you? As you can see, that was a very personal one for me. It is huge. And people don't recognize how important it is to develop others, to support others in their growth and in their journey. And sometimes you'll encounter those who do not want your help, who do not want your support because they think they know everything, or that, oh, I don't need this training. Well, you know what? If that's what you're getting, you need to say bye. Because if they're going to have that attitude and want to be stuck in one spot and in ignorance, then they're not going to perform. They're not going to be high performers. They're not going to be best able to serve. So, you want people who want to be there. You want people who want to show up and who love what they're doing. But at the same time, equally, you as a leader in your industry, in your business, for your team, you have to develop them. And you have to nurture them, and you have to cultivate their gifts, like their skills, and help to improve their gifts with the resources that they will need in whichever department or area they are in. Number 2, employ the dagger. Dun, dun, dun. What does employ the dagger mean? Well, in our last book, Conscious Leadership, with John McKay, who created conscious consumerism, essentially. He's like the father of conscious consumerism. He talked about, in a particular section, and so you should watch that other video, he talked about creating this like secrecy, right? This like secret that you and your team know that the rest of the world don't know yet. And it's for healthy competition. And it's also not necessarily competition, but so that you can get everyone on your staff aligned with what you're doing. So in John McKay's book with the conscious leadership, he shares that when your team is on board and they understand the mission and they understand what it is, not only understand, but know what they have to do, and the rest of the world may not know it yet, their job is to, make sure, okay, these people, they're dripping the information out, but they're so excited because they know what's to come, whatever it is that's going to come, that they are excitingly and enthusiastically doing their part in their department to ensure that your customers, your clients are receiving the information, receiving the value. That incredible. So he's talking here about employing the dagger, and he's talking about promoting competition amongst your teams, but this is like healthy competition. And it's not this to talk bad about this team is doing this, so you need to do that. Absolutely 100% not. Essentially, it's saying how your teams can work together. You have sales and marketing. They work together hand in hand. 100%. They work together hand in hand. You have like other people who are doing different things. Maybe they're lawyers. Perhaps there's the HR team. Every single person have their own thing. And so once they are confident and strong in what it is that they need to do in their department, and then they understand the vision or for the project that is to be, what happens then now is that they will always want to do their best. And that's what you want from your team, to be able to do their best. That's what you want, regardless if they're contractors or full-time employed staff members on your team. So that is one of the key things, right? You can even share with, let's say you have your sales and marketing team. How are they working together? Salespeople always want to make sure, what job they're doing. And there are insights that the marketing team will be able to share with the sales team because, one, they're part of the sales, but they're looking at things objectively. And then there are things that the sales team can share with the marketing team because, hey, not that they're not marketing, but they know what outcome that needs to be achieved. And so they can share insights with the marketing team. And hey, when you're doing the graphics or the caption or the landing page, whatever it is that the marketing team is doing, when you're doing that, this is the wording or this is the essence that we're going for, right? So now they're not battling each other. Or one is trying to take credit for anything. Now they're working together. And that is success in itself. Because when you have your two teams working together and all of your teams working together towards that singular vision, and I talked about this when I did Navigating the Storms in a live. So take a look at that video as well. When everyone's working together harmoniously, you would always receive the triumph and you will always have that success. And finally, finding clarity in the shadows. Number one, finding clarity in the shadows. So I know this was a little bit long, but I get excitable because I love books and I love learning and I love implementing these things, and I've implemented them in my life as well. So finding clarity in the shadows. We all don't know everything, and adversity is going to come. To find clarity in the shadows means sometimes we have to take that time and know that we don't know everything. And that's when the clarity will come, because this is when we can be vulnerable enough to ask for help, to ask for support. And this, as a leader, is essential. We don't recognize or realize, sometimes we don't even see the clarity in itself. It's not obscure. It's simple. and it's easy. And so when we recognize that we don't know everything, it opens us up to receive and welcome information that comes our way. I hope that makes sense to you all. Because when we're willing to receive the answer, the solution, it will come effortlessly. It will show up and present itself in ways that may seem unexpected, but is expected, if that makes sense. Right? So I hope you enjoyed the session. I went 40 minutes. Oh no. But I thought that these 9 core concepts was all very, very good concepts for you to go through, especially with this book, Clarity in Crisis, Leadership Lessons from the CIA. As you've seen, I talked about some of the examples he shared about his leadership journey. I talked about examples from my own life as well. And the reason why I did that is because these lessons can be applied anywhere in your business with your team. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe to the channel for more. As I mentioned before, look back at other videos because they all build upon each other. You can watch them independently, yes, but they all build upon each other. You will think I strategically planned it that way. And yes, I did. Have an incredible day. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I look forward to seeing you on another episode of Boss Chronicles, Unpacking Leadership Literature. Bye.